Day 2, Imagination. The Vision Architecture Challenge. Close your eyes for a moment. Actually, don't. You need to watch this. But I want you to understand something. The ability you have to close your eyes and see something that doesn't exist yet, that ability is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. It's called imagination. And most adults have completely forgotten how to use it. I'm Albert Githinji, and this is day 2 of the Higher Faculties of the Mind series. When I was a boy in Kenya, walking barefoot to school, I used to imagine a different life. I would picture myself standing on stages, speaking to thousands of people, making an impact that reached beyond my village, beyond my country, beyond anything anyone in my family had ever done. Now, adults around me would have called that fantasy, dreaming, wasting time. But here's what I know now. Imagination is not fantasy. Imagination is architecture. Every building that exists was first imagined. Every business, every relationship, every transformation. Your imagination is the blueprint room where you design your future self. I worked with a client named James, successful by most standards, 6-figure income, nice home, good family, but he felt stuck, plateaued, like he'd hit an invisible ceiling. When I asked him to describe his ideal life in vivid detail, he couldn't do it. He could tell me what he didn't want, he could list his complaints, but when it came to painting a picture of his highest potential, blank. His imagination had atrophied, like a muscle that hadn't been used in decades. And here's what I've discovered. You cannot become what you cannot imagine. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. This isn't woo-woo philosophy. This is neuroscience. When you imagine something with enough clarity and emotional intensity, your brain creates neural pathways as if you've already experienced it. Athletes have known this for decades. They call it visualization. But it's not just for sports. Every identity shift begins in the imagination. Before Maria from yesterday's episode could change her perception, she had to imagine herself as a different kind of leader. Before I could go from barefoot in Kenya to speaking around the world, I had to see it in my mind first. Your imagination is not an escape from reality, it is the preview of reality. Here's what blocks most people. We've been trained to be realistic, to set achievable goals, to not get our hopes up, but realistic is just another word for limited by past perception. When you only imagine what seems possible based on your current identity, you trap yourself in a loop. You recreate the same life over and over. The conscious shift requires imagining beyond your current self. It requires asking, who would I need to become to live that life? And then imagining yourself as that person in vivid sensory detail. Here's your challenge for today. I call it vision architecture. Set aside 10 minutes of uninterrupted time. Close your eyes and imagine yourself 1 year from now having made a complete identity shift. You've become the highest version of yourself. I want you to make this as vivid as possible. What does your morning look like? How do you feel when you wake up? What's the first thought in your mind? How do you carry yourself? How do you speak? How do people respond to you? What have you created? What impact are you making? Don't just see it, feel it, hear it, experience it as if you're already there. Then write it down, not as a wish, as a memory from the future. Start with, I remember when I used to feel stuck. Your imagination is a muscle. Today, we're exercising it. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about will, the faculty that turns imagination into reality. If you want the complete framework for identity transformation, check out my free masterclass, The Identity Shift Blueprint. Link in the description. Subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 3. Remember, what you can imagine, you can become. Day 3, Will the 60-Minute Will Challenge.